We were taught as kids that a healthy mind lives in a healthy body, but somewhere along the way, the multi-billion-dollar fitness industry changed the definition of a healthy body. Today, being healthy isn't about inner strength or balance. It's about looking good enough that strangers stare when you walk by. And in the race to build that perfect body, young people are chasing shortcuts. Their muscles might shine under gym lights, but inside, they're falling apart. In this video, we reveal the filthy, disturbing, and shocking secrets hidden behind the lives of some of the world's most famous bodybuilders. Truths this industry desperately tries to hide. Details so dark that even when a bodybuilder dies, families are pressured to stay silent, all to protect an industry built on image, not health. Number 1. No one talks about the injections. Everyone sees the big muscles, the veins, the shredded six-packs, but no one sees the needles. In the world of professional bodybuilding, injections aren't just common, they're routine. Daily syringes filled with steroids, insulin, growth hormones, and site enhancement oils like synthol become a dark part of life. These substances aren't just illegal in many countries, they're silently destroying the bodies they help build. Take Andreas Münzer, for example. He was once admired for his insanely shredded physique, zero fat, pure muscle. But behind those photos was a horrifying truth. Andreas was injecting multiple drugs every single day. Doctors later found over 20 different substances in his system, from diuretics to anabolic steroids. His liver was destroyed, his kidneys collapsed, and his blood had turned to sludge. He died in 1996 at just 31 years old. His death wasn't a surprise to those close to him. They had seen his body fall apart long before the public did. Then there's Greg Valentino, known as the man whose arms exploded. He injected synthol directly into his biceps for years. His arms looked cartoonishly massive, but inside they were rotting. He developed massive infections, abscesses, and eventually had to surgically open his arm with a knife in his bathroom just to release the pus. His muscles weren't real anymore. They were sacks of oil and tissue damage. But here's what most people don't realize. These massive bodybuilders, the ones we admire on stage, often can't even roll over in bed by themselves. Their sheer muscle mass is so unnatural, so excessive, that turning sides while sleeping becomes painful, even impossible without help. Imagine building a body so heavy you can't move it. Injections don't just grow muscles, they rot the body from inside. But since the surface looks aesthetic, the fitness world keeps silent. No one talks about how many bodybuilders can't even sit or sleep comfortably because their glutes are filled with scar tissue from years of injections. No one talks about the infection risks, collapsed veins, or heart attacks caused by underground lab steroids. The bodybuilding world will post selfies of the results, but never the syringes that made them. Number 2. No sleep, no peace. Bodybuilding promises strength, but behind the muscles lies a world most people can't even imagine. A world where there's no drive, no sleep, and no inner peace. Let's talk about something no fitness influencer will ever mention: artificial testosterone. The injections bodybuilders use to grow bigger, faster, they completely shut down the body's natural hormone production. The testicles, whose job is to create testosterone, slowly stop working, and over time, they begin to shrink. Not a little. We're talking about near disappearance. In some cases, they shrink so much that they visibly pull back inside the body, and the damage doesn't stop there. With no natural testosterone, the male organ itself begins to shrink. Not from age, but from chemical imbalance and hormonal chaos. Imagine building a body that looks like a superhero, but privately, you're falling apart. Then comes the sleep deprivation. Bodybuilders overdose on stimulants, fat burners, and pre-workouts. Their nervous system stays in overdrive. Their heart races all night. Their mind doesn't shut down. Sleep becomes a luxury they lose. Some even rely on sleeping pills or sedatives just to get a few hours, until even that stops working. Add to that the mood swings. Artificial hormones hijack the brain's chemistry. Many bodybuilders experience extreme rage, depression, or mental fog. They don't feel like themselves anymore. One minute they're calm, the next minute they're smashing mirrors. Relationships fall apart. Trust disappears. Let's look at real stories. Craig Titus, a professional bodybuilder, once admired for his physique, later became infamous when he was convicted of murder after a series of violent incidents tied to drug abuse and emotional instability. Gordon Kimbrough, another bodybuilder, was arrested for his girlfriend after years of reported domestic abuse. His rage described as sudden and uncontrollable. Even Rich Piana, before his death, admitted publicly that steroids had wrecked his mind. giving him uncontrollable highs and lows, paranoia, and emotional breakdowns. These men weren't monsters. They were victims of a world that demanded perfection at any cost. One minute they're taking selfies with fans. The next, they're throwing furniture, choking partners, or collapsing in hallways. Roid rage is real. Hormonal imbalance rewires the brain. Some scream, some cry, some snap. So the next time you admire a massive chest or bulging biceps, ask yourself, at what cost did he build this body? No sex, no sleep, no peace, just a war inside, hidden under perfect skin. Number 3, can't even clean themselves. Imagine building your body so large, so unnaturally huge, that one day you can't even wipe yourself. That's the dark truth behind extreme bodybuilding. Some of these men looked like superheroes on the outside, but couldn't perform the most basic human tasks, like taking a bath, like going to the toilet, like standing without gasping for air. Many of them stopped showering for days, not because they were lazy, but because they physically couldn't. Their arms couldn't reach behind their back. Their shoulders were so wide they couldn't scrub properly. The smell? It wasn't just sweat. It was trapped infections, leaking wounds, and skin folds that never dried. And it got even worse before competitions. To look more shredded on stage, many bodybuilders stopped drinking water completely, sometimes for 24 to 48 hours. No water, no fluids. The skin gets thinner, the muscles pop out, but the price? Their bodies start to overheat. Their sweat turns thick and toxic. Some of them stop bathing entirely days before a show because they fear the water will affect their look. The result? An unbearable smell that clings to their body. A rotten mix of ammonia, chemicals, and decay. And this isn't just theory. It happened. Take Greg Kovacs, one of the biggest bodybuilders in the world. Over 400 pounds of chemically inflated muscle. He had pushed his body past the point of no return. At home, guests complained they couldn't even breathe near him. Blood-stained towels, the stench of rotting skin. He started wearing adult diapers under his clothes. That's how bad it got. His wife had to help him clean after using the bathroom. Not because he was ill, but because he was too big to reach his own body. The muscles didn't give him power. They took it away. He couldn't walk across a room without sweating buckets. He couldn't sleep flat. He couldn't travel. He was a giant, trapped inside flesh that no longer worked. Greg's case wasn't unique. Many extreme bodybuilders have ended up the same way. Oversized, broken, humiliated. They didn't die in the gym. They died slowly as their own bodies became too big to survive in. That's the part no one shows on Instagram. Number 4, what they really eat and what they don't. From the outside, it looks like dedication. Chicken, broccoli, rice, 6 meals a day, gallons of water, clean eating. That's what they show on YouTube and Instagram, but behind the scenes, the reality is darker and far more disturbing. Before a competition, many bodybuilders stop drinking water entirely. Days, sometimes a full week, without proper hydration. Their lips dry out, their kidneys scream, but they push on just to look shredded for a few hours on stage. And that's not all. They also stop eating salt. Why? To drain the body of any subcutaneous water, the thin layer between skin and muscle. It's a dangerous dehydration game. Muscles may pop on camera, but inside, their organs begin to fail. Their blood pressure crashes. Heart rate spikes. One wrong move, and it's over. And let's talk about food, the real food. Most of these guys don't just live off grilled fish and greens. They gorge on insulin-spiking cheat meals to refill their glycogen stores. We're talking stacks of pancakes, syrup, sugar, pizza, burgers, all in one sitting, not for fun, but for size. It's called a refeed, but what it really does is shock the body. Massive blood sugar spikes, bloating, and heart strain, all for a better pump. And then comes the laxatives. Yes, diuretics and laxatives are common to flush the last bits of water out, but they don't just flush water. They mess with electrolytes, drain the body of potassium, and can trigger cardiac arrest. Many bodybuilders have collapsed in hotel rooms just hours before stepping on stage. Some don't make it back. They don't talk about this during interviews. They don't post it with gym selfies, but ask anyone who's been behind the curtain, and they'll tell you the food is torture and the diet is death on a fork. Number 5. Death is covered up, even by the industry. When a bodybuilder dies young, the headlines go quiet. The industry goes silent. Cause of death? Heart failure, respiratory issues, unknown complications. But those who've been inside, they know the code. It's never just natural causes. When a 28-year-old with 4% body fat and a heart twice the normal size suddenly drops dead in his sleep. The truth? These athletes are dying from the very system that built them. A cocktail of synthetic hormones, dehydration protocols, insulin abuse, and fat-burning drugs that were never meant for long-term use. And yet, when someone dies, the Federation says nothing. The sponsors post a black and white photo, maybe a hashtag, and move on. There are no warnings. No regulations. No accountability, just silence. What's worse, the same industry that buries them in silence profits from their image, even after they're gone. Their Instagram pages stay online, filled with shirtless photos, shredded veins, and supplement links. Millions of young men look at those posts, thinking this is fitness, this is health. They don't know the person in that picture was injecting grams of steroids weekly, using diuretics to dry out organs, or dropping on the floor days before competition. And right under those photos, affiliate codes, product links. Buy this to get my physique. That illusion turns into sales, and those sales feed a billion-dollar black market of anabolic steroids, fat burners, and unregulated hormone kits, all sold in the name of fitness. Behind every influencer body is a sponsor, a company that pumps money as long as the muscles grow. But when the athlete dies, they vanish. Quietly replace them with another rising star. Same code, same drugs, same death sentence, just a different face. Some families want answers, but get lawyers instead. Others are told to let it go. And most fans, they don't even realize they're worshiping bodies that were decaying from the inside. The cycle continues, and the silence remains.